Thank you, Wonder Dave, and thank you for taking some pressure off of me, because the passage that I have chosen for the meditation is also secular. You heard a very peculiar sacred text passage today. This was by intention. That text and this meditation and the hymn we will hear will all be pointing to the sermon theme, "A people without vision shall perish." What I'm about to read you, I'm going to take you back in time to January 17th, 2014, sort of to remind us that the pendulum of life swings regularly and rather dramatically here in our city. These words are not my own. These words were the conclusion of the State of the City address of our former mayor, Ed Lee of blessed memory. And I found them to be very touching and very telling about who we are as a city and who we can be. And so I would invite you to take a moment to get comfortable. Those of you who would like to close your eyes, I will take you to the shipyard in the Bayview Hunters Point on January 17th, 2014, 2 years after a Great Recession. Tech has come here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we can do it, because in the relatively short life of our city, we have faced and overcome even more daunting challenges. And I'm not just talking about earthquakes and pandemics. From the gold rush to the building of the railroad, through wars, liberation movements, the AIDS crisis, and the dot-com boom, the story of San Francisco is one of rapid spurts of growth. It's a story of new industries and movements that brought new waves of people, all seeking the better life and opportunities that San Francisco, more than most places, has always represented. Over time, our growing city covered the hills. We grew west and south, turning cemeteries and sand dunes into neighborhoods like the Western Addition, the Richmond, and the Sunset. Today, we grow again in places like the Shipyard, the New Trans Bay District, or along our eastern waterfront in places like Mission Rock or Pier 70. And whether it was the Irish who came here to pan for gold, the Chinese who came to work on the railroad, the African Americans who came to work in the shipyards, Latinos who fled civil war at home in search of work, or gay, lesbian, and transgender people who came seeking freedom and self-expression, with each wave of newcomer has come a degree of tension. But, my fellow San Franciscans, our city has never been a postcard frozen in time. We have never been a city that closed our borders and slammed shut the door of opportunity to those who came here after us. And when we've tried to keep people out or demonized and stereotyped a group of people, they have been our ugliest and most shameful chapters. And so today, as our population once again grows in numbers and our skyline grows upwards, I call upon the quality and the tenor of our civic discussion to grow up as well. My friends, keeping this city a place where everybody can live, whether you've been here for 60 years or 60 days, is the fundamental challenge of our time. But it is a challenge we must confront together. As usual, it was Dr. King who said it best. We may have come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. It's a challenge we confront by ensuring every San Franciscan who can work has a job. It's a challenge we confront by ensuring every San Franciscan can afford to stay here and raise a family. And it's a challenge we confront by improving our schools, our public transportation system, and keeping our streets safe. We are one city where we celebrate the success of all of our residents, and we all share in the responsibility to help those still left behind. It's the same city where thousands will turn out to cheer a little kid named Miles, who conquered cancer and then came to live out his superhero dreams as Bat Kid. And to the newcomers, to the young people who have come here, like so many generations before you, to find opportunities, I say, get involved. You are now a part of this city and must be part of the solution. Acknowledge your impact and make it a good one. Understand that the homeless man you see sleeping in the doorway probably once thought he was invincible too, but then made mistakes or fell on hard times, and that one day you may too. Volunteer at your local school. Help clean up your local park. Respect the history and the cultures of those who were here before you. Shop and eat in your neighborhood and break bread with your neighbors. Because it turns out that San Francisco changes us more than any group of newcomers will ever change San Francisco. It opens our eyes and our minds to new ideas and new ways of thinking. And that, my friends, is what makes this place so special and keeps us at the cutting edge of this century as much, if not more so, than the last. My fellow San Franciscans, we have come a great distance these last few years, but there are still too many in our city we must lift up, and too many we must still help to ensure that this will always be their city too. Our work is far from done. Nelson Mandela taught the world a thing or two about bridging divides and bringing people together. And he reminded us that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. We may take a moment to rest and to look back at the distance we have come, but only for a moment. We have responsibilities, and we dare not linger. Our long walk together is not yet ended. Let us go forward together in 2014 to keep the state of our city vital and strong, and to ensure that San Francisco remains a place where everyone can afford to call home. And here he concludes.